The Gambian economy achieved a robust growth rate of 5.3% in 2024, surpassing regional average for Sub-Saharan Africa, according to the International Monetary Fund. The announcement was made on Tuesday during the IMF's presentation of its regional economic outlook for Sub-Saharan Africa. The report highlights that economic activity across the region exceeded earlier projections, with regional growth reaching 4.0% in 2024, up from 3.6% in 2023. The IMF attributed this performance to improved macroeconomic policies, noting a narrowing of macroeconomic imbalances, including slowing inflation and greater public debt stability. According to the IMF, median headline inflation in the region declined to 4.5% by early 2025, while the median debt to GDP ratio remained stable below 60%, a critical threshold for fiscal sustainability. Despite the positive developments, the IMF cautioned that many sub-Saharan African countries remain vulnerable. After enduring 4 years of crisis, the region is now grappling with a new wave of external shocks. These include abrupt changes in global economic policy priorities and increasing trade tensions, particularly a series of significant tariff measures imposed by the United States and retaliatory actions by its trading partners.
We've noticed that many countries are still vulnerable to these shocks. And if you look at the graph that is being projected here, which shows an overlap of macroeconomic balances, our studies have shown that in the region, at least 10 countries in 2024 have exhibited imbalances relating to their primary balances being below the debt sustainable primary balance level. And if you look at those black strip marks, these are the countries that have at least the two imbalances in their economics. And the yellow ones with the yellow circles there, the orange circles, those countries which have exhibited at least 3 to 4 imbalances within the economy. So you would notice that at least 1/3 of the countries in the sub-region have 3 or more imbalances simultaneously, which is suggesting even greater vulnerability to potential shocks and therefore a more urgent need for front-loaded adjustments. This situation is even going to be compounded by the fact that there is a drop in aid. Many countries have announced a reduction in their foreign aid budget, and this is even expected to increase. Already, the United States has announced in March a 53% cut to their aid budget to USAID. Netherlands has announced 30%, Belgium 25%, France 37%, and UK in March has announced 40%. And key among the countries in the sub-Saharan Africa region that are going to be affected is the Central African Republic, South Sudan, Mozambique, and the Gambia, all of which have at least 15 to 30% of their economy. The size of the ODA being equivalent to 10 to 30% of their GDP.
The report also forecast a moderation in regional growth, projecting a slowdown to 3.8% in 2025 and 4.2% in 2026, a downward revision of 0.4 and 0.2 percentage points respectively. This declaration is driven largely by weaker global demand, subdued commodity prices, and tighter financial conditions. Countries heavily reliant on commodity exports or with substantial trade exposure to the United States are expected to experience the most significant downward revisions. Speaking at the presentation of the report, IMF Resident Representative Patrick Gitton noted that the Gambia's economic performance in 2024 outpaced earlier forecasts, reflecting stronger policy implementation and relative resilience and global turbulence.
Our analysis delivers 2 key messages. First, the economic performance in the region has improved in 2024, even exceeding expectations. The performance was supported by tough policy choices. Second, policymakers across the regions now face a brutal change in the external economic landscape. What is the story? 6 months ago, the IMF highlighted the region's slow growth. and the steep political and social obstacles that governments were facing to overcome and to push forwards reforms. There was stronger than expected rebound in the region last year, in 2024. Regional growth exceeded expectations in 24, reaching 4% compared to 3.6% in 2023. High-frequency indicators suggest a pickup in growth momentum in the last quarter of 2024. The activity was especially strong in non-resource intensive countries, which is the case of the Gambia. It's worth to note that the Gambian economy grew at a stronger pace than the overall region. It is estimated to have reached 5.3% last year, and it has been significantly above the regional average over the past few years since 2021. This is shown on the left-hand side chart that you can see. The Gambia has overperformed the region average for several years now.
The IMF also warned that uncertainty in the global economic outlook remains exceptionally high, with potential risk including further trade disputes or financial tightening in advanced economies. Such developments could deepen regional investor confidence, rise borrowing costs, and undermine economic stability. Furthermore, the report signals a likely decline in official development assistance to sub-Saharan Africa in coming years, which may place additional strain on the region's most vulnerable populations. Reporting for Kerfatu, I am Buba Gajigo.